All right, you guys, this is Cali Prep. I'm back on with another video. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Follow my channel at Kafani Howard 1826. Now, I have an urgent message. This is an urgent message. Now, I want to talk about we're going to be in 20 years of seismic activity. 2 decades that we're going to see seismic activity like you never seen it. And right now, what's going on with we're getting a high volume of plasma when we seeing solar flares hitting the sunspots. We having a high frequencies, low frequencies of these protons hitting sunspots, which causing a high, maximum of seismic activity. So what I'm trying to say to you guys is at some point we are going into a whole North Pole shift, which means the tectonic plates is not going to be able to hold all of the gravity that we seeing when it comes to solar flares, and especially these small quakes. I'm seeing a buildup, and it's not looking good, because when I'm seeing the Los Angeles, they have a fault system. I guess they had discovered a new fault system. And what I'm seeing so far, I'm seeing a small buildup where when I'm looking at Central California, when I'm looking at Northern California, when I'm looking at Southern California, it's building up with small quakes, which going to lead to big quakes. They know this. They are putting on a warning to warn people that we're not far for having, the big quakes. And I don't want to scare you guys. I don't want to use no fear mongering, but this is something that we have to take in consideration. And when I'm seeing, when it comes to the cascade subduction zone, when it comes to these fault systems, like I said, San Francisco fault lines, San Andreas fault lines, the new Madrid fault lines. We are coming into a time where we're going to see super volcano eruption. Just look at Iceland. Look at Italy eruption. Sooner or later, it's going to continue to build up. It's going to build up, and it's not going to look good. When I'm looking at the ocean temperature, sea levels rising, we are seeing 2 disturbances, which I see you have 40%, 10% in the next couple of days. What I'm seeing, you guys, with these waves, that I see that these waves might make a western push, and then you have one wave might stall and might make that push into the north after it goes into the Gulf. So they're already putting out 24 named storms, and we're at a peak of hurricane season, and things is just about to turn up. When you look at the monsoon season, and I want to say over there in Iceland, when you got all that glaciers, and eventually, you guys, what they don't really want to say is within the next couple of years, that ice is going to melt, and you got states like Vermont, and when we look at Virginia, and Connecticut, When we look at, Dakota, and Montana, especially where that new, Madrid fault line is, I believe Missouri, Mississippi, New York, Florida, Texas, it's going to be seeing serious seismic activity, quakes. And like I said, I believe within next year, 2 years, you're going to start seeing Florida underwater, New York underwater. I believe Carolina, will be target. So all these states that's going to be target for serious flooding events, you guys have to pay attention. And like I said, when it comes to California, Los Angeles, big population, that's going to be, where anytime we look at faults, systems, fault lines, I've been always saying this to you guys, and I'm going to continue to say this to you guys, because when I look at Los Angeles, it's a very populated area for seismic activity, and I believe at some point, Los Angeles will be hit by a series of earthquakes, and when that big one comes, people are going to be trapped in. Water lines, will flow. And like I said, the first state that I'm looking at that will be underwater will be Los Angeles, because of the fault lines. When you look at the coastal, it's not going to look good, you guys, into that northern Pacific. Cascade subduction zone. When we look at Cascade, I feel at some point that Cascade subduction zone will be hit by a 9.3. And I feel when we look at the Pacific coast, I don't want to scare you guys, but at some point, I feel the Pacific coast will be at a high, alert, where tsunami will come into the Pacific. So it's just a matter of time when these things come and hit. So saying all this to you guys, have to have a preparedness. Like I said, you guys, in my last videos, please, you guys, have a preparedness. Prepare like like your life was just dependent. Like, like, I say this, people here today and they're gone tomorrow. Have a preparedness like you living into the last days. And like I say, you guys, we are going to be in this seismic activity for the next 2 decades, next 20 years, you guys. So, you guys, I'm going to say, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to practice the 3 Ps. To prepare, practice, and persevere. I'm out.